But first, it is one of the great traditions, a little boy and his dog. And Kenny McKnight loved his dog very much. But Kenny's life was badly shaken after a neighbor shot the dog to death. And as Rick Kirkham reports, the law is not doing a thing.
Whenever I got about 10 feet away from her, he shot him again, and I kept on yelling to not shoot her again, but he still did.
Do you have to kill a child, a grandmother to stop him? I mean, what does it take?
Port Aransas, Texas, the Badlands, as frontier outlaws used to call this area just outside Corpus Christi. But the people of this Port Aransas neighborhood say the gunslinging image of the past is still very much alive, and it has children here scared to death.
Well, first we went down to the end of the road and had a gunshot. I jumped off the seat of my bike and I turned around and I saw Carrie just hopping on three legs.
The fear stems from an incident involving 9-year-old Kenny McKnight and his faithful sidekick, Carrie, a Terrier Spitz mix given to Kenny and his older brother when Kenny was only 2 years old.
That was a present from their grandma. And, she died a couple years after that, so that was, part of that memory too.
From the time Kenny was just a small boy and Carrie a mere pup, the two were inseparable. Over the years, Carrie truly became Kenny's best friend, his confidant.
Oh, he loves that dog. I mean, you know how some people get so close to their pet, it's like part of them? He's that close to the dog and always was.
However, that special part of Kenny died a few weeks ago in a most brutal way, while Kenny was out playing in the neighborhood. 9-year-old Kenny and a group of his young friends were walking down this road. At about the time they passed this home, the group was startled when all of a sudden they heard a gunshot ring out. Kenny turned around only to see his beloved little pet crawling across the road. But before the child could even bolt to the pet's side, the man living in the home had come up to the dog, put a gun to its head, and shot it again.
As I got closer, I could hear the boys crying, you shot my dog, you shot my dog. They just kept crying.
He was just doubled over, just crying, "No, mister, not my dog." And it was sickening. Oh yeah, he was crushed.
The gunslinger in this case is John O'Neill, a naval petty officer who lives adjacent to Kenny's home. A man neighbors describe as a trigger-happy gunman who they claim has killed owls, birds, alligators, foxes, and squirrels, only to toss the carcasses in his backyard to rot. O'Neill claims he was justified in killing Carrie right in front of the group of children because the dog had allegedly snatched one of O'Neill's pet chickens and was fleeing his yard with the fowl in mouth. Ironically, a forgotten Texas law enacted back in the days of the cowboys justifies the killing of a dog known to attack a person's livestock. Has a crime been committed in this case?
No, it has not. It's a tradition in the state of Texas that we protect our livestock. That's the basis for the defense.
But Kenny's parents are outraged over the shooting for a number of reasons. The most serious being that Kenny was only feet away from Carrie when the last gunshot rang out. Just exactly how close was your child to this incident?
Kenny says he was 10 feet and close enough to get blood on him. So
blood splattered across him from his pet.
I saw it. So did my cousin, Diane. It was on him, and Kenny was crying so bad. He said, "I'm going to wash this blood off." He said, "I'm going to remember Carrie. He didn't want to let me wash the clothes."
There is also controversy surrounding whether or not the dog even got near O'Neill's chickens. Authorities at first told us the only evidence of a chicken attack was the word of the man who killed the dog.
His statement is the only one available, so the evidence cannot be disputed that the attack was taking place.
However, after a brief legal consultation, County Attorney David Akins amended his statement, proclaiming a sheriff's deputy had actually seen a chicken in Carrie's mouth. Kenny, however, insistently disagrees. You didn't see a chicken in Carrie's mouth?
No. There wasn't even a chicken around, not even one feather.
And other neighbors, outraged over the incident, are now coming forward to substantiate the boy's story. They also claim O'Neill's contention that the chickens were prized pets is far from true.
No, not after he's asked me to go take target practice with my bow and arrow on him, and the fact that he did come over about a week later and asked if I would turn my bird dog loose on one so we could see what would happen.
Though John O'Neill apologized for the incident in a local newspaper interview, he did not want to talk to us. When we spotted him riding his motorcycle up and down his street, he quickly pulled into his garage and refused to answer the door.
Mr. O'Neill, could I please speak with you? I know you're in there, and you know we're out here.
A few minutes later, O'Neill bolted from his home with his wife and drove away.
Just for a second. Mr. O'Neill!
The trauma has sparked horrible nightmares for all the kids who watched as Carrie was gunned down, the most vivid being those of Kenny's.
The nightmare started whenever I was about 10 feet away from Carrie, and after he said that's the last time my effing dog is gonna be in his yard, he shot me and said that's the last time you're gonna talk to me.
You have nightmares that he's going to kill you.
When you stand there with the smoking gun, screaming obscenities at a child, pointing your finger in his face and screaming at him with a smoking gun, you know, it's gonna scare him, you know, it's gonna make fear in them. He won't forget it. He's scared of the man.
The case is officially closed according to authorities. Kenny, meanwhile, continues to leave the bus stop every day after school, only to hold a silent, tearful vigil at Carrie's graveside.
It's okay to cry. We all cry when we lose somebody we love. What do you think people should know about what happened here?
They should know that to never be that guy's friend. And they should know that I'm telling the truth.
Well, Kenny's neighbor did pay Carrie's final vet bill. Friends have given the boy a new puppy, but Kenny says Carrie can never be replaced.